Have you ever looked back and wished you had kept certain things to yourself? As the years pass, we gain insight not just from what we say, but from what we choose not to say. Today, I'm going to share 5 things that women over 65 should consider keeping private, not out of secrecy, but out of self-respect, peace of mind, and to preserve the harmony in your family. Before we begin, if this topic speaks to you, give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Let's grow wiser together. 1. Deep personal regrets. Some stories are better kept within. As we grow older, we collect stories, some joyful, others painful. Each of them is part of our journey. And among those stories, regrets have a special place. They are the quiet whispers that visit us late at night, the what-ifs and if-onlys that echo in our hearts. But here's the truth. Not all regrets need to be spoken out loud, especially not to our family. It's tempting, isn't it? When you're sitting with your children or grandchildren, the memories rush in. You want to tell them about the chances you didn't take, the mistakes you made, or the roads you wish you had followed. Sometimes we believe that by sharing these regrets, we'll find relief, that the weight will feel lighter once spoken. But often it doesn't work that way. When you reveal personal regrets, especially ones involving life-changing decisions, it doesn't just affect you. It reshapes how your loved ones see themselves and even their own lives. Imagine telling your daughter that you wish you had never married young, or telling your son that you regret giving up your career. You may mean to express a moment of vulnerability, but they may hear something completely different, that their life, their very existence, came from a mistake. That's a heavy burden for a child to carry, no matter how old they are. You see, when you share these deep regrets, you risk shifting your role in their eyes. From being a pillar of strength and wisdom, you may become someone to worry about. They may start to feel pity instead of admiration. They may begin to wonder if they, too, are destined for a life filled with disappointment. This doesn't mean we should bottle everything up. Processing regret is important, but the key is how and with whom we do it. Instead of turning to your children, who may not know how to handle that emotional weight, consider speaking to a trusted friend, a counselor, or writing in a private journal. Sometimes just putting those thoughts into words for yourself is enough. Other times, talking to someone who won't be directly affected by your past choices can offer the clarity and comfort you need. It's also worth remembering this. Regret, when left unchecked, has a way of overshadowing the present. If we constantly speak about what could have been, we may unintentionally suggest that what is, our family, our home, our relationships, is not enough. That hurts more than we realize. What if instead we reframed our regrets as lessons? You might say, there were moments in my life I wish I had chosen differently, but every step brought me here, and I'm grateful for what I have now. That small shift from sorrow to acceptance can make all the difference. Because in the end, your children and grandchildren don't need to carry your pain. What they need is your presence, your laughter, your stories that inspire, not the ones that weigh down their hearts. Regret is part of being human, but wisdom lies in knowing when to speak and when to hold gently within. 2. Financial matters. Why some things are best kept private. Money. It's something we all deal with every day, every stage of life. And as we reach our later years, money can become a sensitive topic, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us. Whether it's concerns about retirement, medical bills, or how much we've saved or haven't, finances often stir up emotions we don't expect. But here's something worth considering. How, when, and if we share financial details with family can deeply affect our relationships. Let's talk about the common situation. You're sitting at the kitchen table with your children or a relative, and you casually mention how tight things have become since prices have gone up. Maybe you say it to vent. Maybe you're simply being honest. But what starts as a harmless comment can turn into something much heavier. Adult children, especially those who love and respect you, may begin to worry. Even if you never ask them for help, they might feel obligated to step in, emotionally or financially. They might take on stress, shift their own plans, or feel guilty about spending on themselves while thinking you're struggling. And what happens then? The dynamic changes. Conversations begin to feel heavier. They start calling less, not because they don't care, but because every call feels like a financial check-in. You never meant for that to happen. You were just speaking your truth. On the other end of the spectrum, sharing that you're doing well financially can have its own set of complications. Maybe you've worked hard, saved carefully, and are enjoying a comfortable retirement. That's something to be proud of. But when shared too openly, especially in detail, it can shift how others see you. A family member might begin to see your generosity as a responsibility. They may expect help with tuition, a down payment, or debt, not because they feel entitled, but because they assume you're able. Quiet assumptions can turn into quiet resentment if you say no. Even between siblings or extended family, talking too much about your money can spark comparison and jealousy. Maybe one feels left out of a gift. Another thinks someone else got more. Suddenly, conversations are no longer about love. They're about fairness, numbers, and unspoken expectations. So what's the answer? Should you keep everything to yourself? Not at all. Transparency has its place, especially with a spouse, or in legal matters like wills or medical planning. But when it comes to broader family circles, a little discretion can protect peace on all sides. If you're going through financial hardship, it's okay to talk about it, but consider who you share it with and how. Focus on solutions, not just stress. Speak with someone who can offer guidance, not guilt. If you're doing well, share your wisdom more than your numbers. Offer advice on saving, budgeting, or smart planning without turning it into a financial scoreboard. Lead by example. That way your legacy becomes about knowledge and empowerment, not envy or misunderstanding. Remember, your value isn't in your bank balance. It's in your life experience, your resilience, and the love you give. Money comes and goes, but the way you make others feel around this topic can stay for a lifetime. In short, be mindful, be wise, and most importantly, be at peace. You've earned it. 3. Opinions about family members. When silence protects more than words. Over the years, we gather countless impressions about the people in our family. We notice patterns, we form opinions, and sometimes we feel a strong urge to say what's on our minds, especially when it comes from a place of love or concern. But here's a truth many learn the hard way. Voicing every thought about your family, especially the negative ones, can do more harm than good. Let's be honest. There are times when we get frustrated with our children, in-laws, or even our grandchildren. Maybe you think your daughter is making a poor parenting choice. Maybe you don't agree with your son-in-law's career moves or how your niece is living her life. In your heart, you may believe you're only trying to help. But in families, words stick. Even when spoken gently, opinions can linger, twist, and grow into resentment. Imagine this. You mention just once to another relative that you're disappointed your grandson didn't go to college. You didn't mean it as judgment, just a passing thought. But that comment finds its way back to him. Now, every time he visits, he feels the need to prove himself. He doesn't hear your love, he hears your disappointment. The warmth fades. Conversations become surface level. Visits grow shorter. Was it worth it? You may also confide in one child about frustrations with another, assuming they'll understand. But what starts as venting can turn into division. One child may feel like the favorite, while the other senses your disapproval, even if you never say it directly. The bonds between siblings, between parents and children, begin to fray, not because of what was done, but because of what was said. It's not that your opinions aren't valid. You've lived long enough to see patterns and understand consequences. Your instincts are sharp and your wisdom runs deep. But the way you share that wisdom makes all the difference. Ask yourself, is this opinion going to build someone up or tear someone down? Will it bring clarity or cause shame? Will it open the door to deeper connection or close it? There is great power in holding certain thoughts back. That's not dishonesty, it's discernment. It's understanding that silence can be more loving than unsolicited advice. It's choosing peace over being right. Respect over judgment. Instead of saying, I don't like the path they're on, try, I trust that they're figuring out their own way. You don't have to agree with every choice to be supportive. Your quiet belief in them might speak louder than any lecture ever could. And if you truly feel the need to express concern, do it with gentleness and timing. Wait for a moment when emotions are calm. Speak from a place of curiosity, not criticism. Ask questions instead of giving orders. Be the safe space they come to, not the opinion they run from. At this stage of life, your presence, wisdom, and kindness are more impactful than your judgments. Your family remembers how you make them feel far more than what you say. So let them feel accepted. Let them feel respected. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is bite your tongue and open your arms. 4. Health concerns. Why your illness shouldn't define the conversation. As we get older, it's natural for our health to take up more space in our daily lives. Doctor appointments become more frequent. Medications line the bathroom cabinet. Aches and pains appear where there used to be ease and energy. So it's no surprise that health becomes a frequent topic in our conversations. But here's something many don't realize. When every conversation starts and ends with our health problems, it can unintentionally change how others see and feel about us. Of course, there's nothing wrong with sharing how you're feeling. It's human to want support when you're in pain or dealing with a difficult diagnosis. But when updates about illness become the main thing we talk about, when our stories become filled only with hospital visits, symptoms, and worries, we start to be seen not as the whole, vibrant person we are, but as someone who is simply unwell. Loved ones, especially younger family members, may begin to treat us with quiet caution. Not out of disrespect, but out of concern. They may start to view us as fragile. They may hesitate to invite us to events, include us in plans, or even share their own joys, thinking we're too burdened to be involved. What's worse, they may begin to feel helpless. When they hear about every new pain, every sleepless night, every test result, and every fear, they may want to help, but don't know how. That helplessness can slowly become emotional exhaustion. Without realizing it, they may start to withdraw, not because they don't love you, but because every conversation feels heavy. That's the last thing any of us want. So what can we do? Do we pretend everything is fine? Smile through the pain and stay silent? Absolutely not. You should never suffer alone or hide important medical issues from those closest to you. But there's a balance, and it starts by remembering this. Your illness is part of your story. It's not the whole book. Share when it matters. Be honest when someone asks how you're doing, but also make space in the conversation for joy, for memories, for laughter. Talk about your garden, your favorite recipe, your grandchild's funny question, or that movie that made you cry in a good way. Let people see all of you, not just the symptoms. And if you're struggling with chronic illness or fear about the future, find someone you can truly open up to. A counselor, a support group, or a trusted friend. Sometimes what we really need is not to talk more, but to talk to the right person. Your family already knows you're strong. Let them also see that you're still living, still laughing, still learning. Show them that aging isn't just about decline, it's about depth. It's about finding joy even when the body slows down. It's about resilience. And most importantly, remember this: you are not your diagnosis. You are not your medical chart. You are not defined by what hurts. You are defined by how you continue to show up in love, in hope, and in grace. So speak your truth, but also don't let illness steal your light from the conversation. You have so much more to share. 5. Fears about the future. Don't let tomorrow steal today. As we get older, it's only natural for our thoughts to drift toward the future. Questions begin to stir quietly in our hearts. Will I be okay? Will I become a burden? What if I lose someone I love? What happens if my health declines faster than I expect? These thoughts aren't signs of weakness. They're simply part of being human. But while it's okay to acknowledge these fears, it's just as important to consider how often we speak them aloud, especially to those closest to us. You see, when our conversations become filled with constant worry about the future, it can unknowingly cast a shadow on our relationships. Family members may begin to feel emotionally overwhelmed, especially if they hear these fears over and over again. They may not know how to respond. They may offer comforting words or promises they can't guarantee, or simply fall into silence, feeling helpless. The truth is, no one, not even those who love us most, can predict what tomorrow will bring. And when we place our deepest anxieties into their hands, they may feel like they're expected to carry a burden they can't fix. Let me be clear, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to feel uncertain. These are real, honest emotions, but there is power in choosing when and how to express them. Sharing your fears is healthy when it leads to understanding or comfort. But when fear becomes the only theme, when it starts to define every interaction, it drains the warmth out of connection. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong tomorrow, ask yourself, what can I enjoy today? Is it a quiet moment with your morning coffee? A phone call with a friend? A walk in the garden? The smell of something baking in the oven? These small, beautiful moments are not distractions. They are life itself. You don't have to pretend everything is fine, but you don't have to let fear narrate every story either. You still have the power to shape the tone of your life, calm instead of chaos, presence instead of panic. And there's something else to consider. When you speak from a place of calm and groundedness, your loved ones feel safer around you. They're more likely to open up, to laugh with you, to include you in their lives, not out of duty, but from genuine joy. So the next time a wave of worry comes, and it will, try gently acknowledging it, then shifting your attention. Breathe deeply. Write it in a journal, say a quiet prayer, or even better, replace it with a moment of gratitude. You're still here, still growing, still able to make memories that matter. Fear may visit your mind, but it doesn't have to take residence in your heart. And if you must speak your fears aloud, let it be to someone who is equipped to receive them, someone who can support you without being weighed down. Let your conversations with family be filled not only with truth, but with lightness, hope, and the joy of now. Because no one knows the future, but we do know this moment, and it is still yours. So let's take a moment to reflect. We've explored 5 important things that women over 65 might consider keeping more private, not to hide from the world, but to protect the peace and strength you've worked so hard to build. Your regrets don't need to become someone else's burden. Your finances aren't anyone's measuring stick. Your opinions, no matter how well-intended, can sometimes do more harm than good. Your health doesn't define your worth, and your fears, they don't deserve to steal the joy you have left to experience. At this stage in life, you don't owe the world an explanation for everything you think or feel. You've earned the right to choose what to share and what to keep sacred. Sometimes the most powerful statements are made in silence, in calm presence, in kind smiles, in gentle resilience. And remember this, being private doesn't mean being alone. It means being wise. It means knowing that love doesn't always require words, that dignity can live quietly inside us, and that the most beautiful parts of life are often the ones we carry softly in our hearts. So now I want to hear from you. What's one thing you have learned to keep to yourself, and how has that helped you find more peace? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's learn from each other, support one another, and grow wiser together. If you found comfort or clarity in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter of this journey. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and never stop protecting your inner peace. You deserve it.